We're running back some clerics here. If you haven't seen this deck before, it's Gasoline. We have Pyre of Heroes as a utility card that sacrifices creatures to get creatures of the same type. And at the core, we use this card in this deck to just put a bunch of Righteous Valkyries into play consistently to pump up the jam and attack for a lot. We also have a core package in the Cleric's deck. So this is a core and a Cleric, so we can pod Skyclave Cleric into Skyclave Apparition. And then our 4-drop here for Cleric value at the top end is actually also a core, so you could turn Skyclave into Hierophant as well. And then our Luminarch Veteran here at the bottom not only helps us gain life, but it also disturbs back for 2 mana. So you can like pod this into a 2-drop, and then you can disturb this back and pot it into another 2-drop, which is great. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this. This will be our 3rd time playing this deck. The first couple of times we played it, it was sweet both of the times. Hopefully that continues for us. Yeah, I agree. Graveyard hate cards like Kavu, Kaya, Scavenging Ooze, those are more appropriate power level for graveyard hate cards. And if there's graveyard combo decks in a given format that are more powerful that those cards can't keep in check, they just should be removed from the format. Hey, thanks for the biddy, Silas. This 2-drop was a very good draw here. I have an excellent curve now. We pump up the jam. Pump up the bump up the wump up the jam. Cadillac. We do have a Cadillac. Let's go ahead and drop this on the Chariot here. Aspirant will crank itself up to a 3/3 so it can block wolves. Triple black is kind of prohibitive. I don't really want to cut any of my basics for more utility lands because then my snarls come into play tapped more often. I should throw a 4th Hierophant in the sideboard though. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. We did talk about that last time.
We will help you find safe ground.
That's a nice draw. So, by Cleric of Lifespawn first here, it gets a counter, but then I gain less life. I think that's still fine. Match 1, game 1, Tongsby. Oh wow, we are actually cleared for liftoff here still, right? You get the counter either way? You do not. You do not. This only gets a counter the first time you gain life in a turn. Which tracks even before I've gotten got by this a couple of times. The first couple of times we played it, so it's extra line I remember. It's a kind of a weird clause. So we're either eating a tree folk or killing a Reidane 7. Either of these are good for us. How would you rate the importance of leveling up Cleric Class? I mean, questions like that don't really have binary answers. Like, it's contextual based on what else you have going on. So, like, we frequently get Cleric Class to level 3, but it's generally not a priority over advancing your board in other ways, no?
From root to canopy, the trees are mighty.
Ramez, thanks for the follow. Like, for the record, too, this game really highlights why the mono green deck is not a problem to beat up by a lot of decks that, like, just don't care about Epiphany. Like, our opponent was on the play, had turn 3 Renin Chariot, had turn 3 Chariot, turn 4 Renin 7, and, like, this game just, like, you know, we kind of stomped them, right? Alright, so I like this to deal with tokens. I like Crippling Fear to clean out their miscellaneous blockers. Vanishing Verse is a decent one. Let me trim here. Cut the Spellbinder. I think Skyclave is only okay here. I think I want like one to pot into, but I probably don't want all of them. Luminarch's a little slow on the draw. Bring this extra Dawnbringer Cleric in. This can destroy Ranger's Class, which is nice. Let's do this. This hand really wants an untapped land for turn 2, but if it finds it, this hand is very good, so. Alright. Okie dokie. I go Veteran into tapped land here, I think. Gives me the option to Skyclave next turn, potentially. Or Vanishing Verse plus Cleric Class. So, kind of just hoping to draw lands for the next couple turns here. Nice. So we'll go Cleric Class into Veteran, gain some life, into Vanishing Verse, your pack leader, attack you for 3. I don't really think the range of decks you play has a strong correlation to how good you are as a Magic player. I don't think those things are particularly related. Grab Dawnbringer here and kill the Ranger class, I think. Do I want to play Skyclave Cleric as a land, or is it going to be a spell? I think it's a land. This way, if I draw an untapped land next turn, I can go Hierophant, pod Dawnbringer into a 3-drop, get back my Veteran from the graveyard. Cody? Yes, the back side of cards is the same as the CMC printed on the front side. No blocks. Take 11. Really want an untapped land here. Cleric of Lifespond. Hey, thanks for the tip, Gary Packs. Maybe I'm just supposed to get Brutal Cathar there, actually. Yeah, it's probably what I'm supposed to do. Just get rid of the Tree Folk token. Hey, thanks for the Prime sub, Codemaster. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate the support. Hey, good games to you. Good luck in the rest of your laddering today. So, got a chump block, this 7/7 with the Veteran here. And then again, just hoping to draw untapped land next turn so we can go Hierophant into pod, R2 drop into Righteous Valkyrie. Then I think I just turn the Cleric into a Valkyrie here. Hey, thanks for your 11 months, Steves. Welcome back. Yep, back to 20. I mean, they do have 28 power worth of creatures in play, so like... $13, $17. And then again, just like hoping to draw untapped land here still. All right. In it to win it. So we play Hierophant here, gain a bunch of life. We pod Valkyrie into second Hierophant, gain some life, get double Hierophant triggers, bring back Valkyrie, bring back something else. Oh, and this one brings something back when it dies too, right? So we get to grab this one. And gain a bunch of life. And this is gonna get Hierophant. And then Legend Roll happens, and we get all these triggers. I'll grab a this one and this one. Are we gonna be above 27 here? I think we're gonna get above 27, right? Hippity pop, the fun don't stop, chat. Yeah. Houston, we are cleared for takeoff. I repeat, we are cleared for takeoff. Roger Dodger, over and out. Good shit. Nice aggro deck. I like it is. Thanks for the 2 years. If you're coming in for the first time and you haven't seen this deck before, that means you haven't checked out the daily deck digest on YouTube. Every single day, highlight a different standard or historic deck up there that's doing something sweet. I think I want a fourth Orah. Does this deck consistently beat mono green? Yeah, it crushes it. That game that you just watched there is a fairly average case scenario. Any game that you have Pyre of Heroes in play, how do you board against Epiphany? I don't know. cut the bad cards and put in the good ones. Your Epiphany matchup, you're just like a mediocre aggro deck. Your Epiphany matchup is worse than your green matchup by a lot. By a lot. These portable holes honestly probably don't need to be in my bin. Oh, we wanted portable hole against green-red aggro, I think. Maybe I still don't need them. I don't need the third verse. No, Brutal Cathar is very good in the Renin 7 matchups. So 11 months, Deebs. One more month till you're sword indeed. Yeah, it's our third time playing this deck on stream. That's very good. Very reasonable. Ticks a lot of the boxes you want to tick when looking for a competitive deck. Alright. You know, mono white matchup? Yeah, it's a good matchup for a lot of the same reasons the green matchup is good. They just play to the board. I think I just take this opportunity to resolve Pyre of Heroes. It's a nice one. Start potting for value here now. Just want to activate this card every turn if possible. The Skyclave Cleric can turn into a Skyclave Apparition to exile this Smoldering Egg next turn. In fact, I'm going to try and cast this one from hand first, so that way once we get rid of this, I can attack for one. Actually, I probably don't want to attack, because if they, like, kill my Skyclave and attack me for 2, 1 damage isn't worth taking 2 on the backswing. Sad that they had command. This matchup's not unwinnable, but it's a lot worse than the creature matchups. Your creature matchups are very good. Your matchup into people flipping you the bird is not nearly as good. Oh, for people that don't follow me on Twitter, by the way, Wizards doesn't really like me, but I did get a leak of some insider information. So I did get some news. There was some news on whether or not they're gonna ban Aldrin's Epiphany. So I wanted to share it on stream here too. So this was a leaked internal memo about how people feel about whether or not we wanna ban Aldrin's Epiphany here. Well, we've got our mopey creatures in play, chat. Can they deliver the beatdown? Sorcery Speed Deluge is is, let's call it an interesting play into my Hive. So if I play this out, I'm attacking for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think I'd rather fire up the Hive and eat their deluge here. Unfortunate. So you have to flip to night now too. I know a timeout request when I see them. Duck. They did in fact burn down our house. Definitely a fourth Hierophant matchup. I'm gonna trim here. Need 3 cuts. Just trim around the edges. Is Aspirant winning us in this matchup? Yeah, this card's very good against control. This is a single threat that they have to answer or continues adding power to the board every single turn. Control is exactly the type of matchup you want this card in. You just like play this card on 2 and it like kills them on their own while snowballing every turn. Amorphous, thanks for the brand new Prime. There's a ton of great people on Twitch you can send those Bezo bucks to every month. Thanks for sending them this way this month and keeping me around. You know, it's funny. I actually think outside of the obvious use case with Velocomys in Standard, in general, I think Aldarunes is much better than Time Warp would be in the Standard format. Like, pretend Velocomys doesn't exist because it's, like, not a card in the metagame without Time Warp. Like, it doesn't see any play right now. Like, generically in the format, the fact that Aldarunes hides itself from discard spells and makes you a board presence on its own, I think it's much better than Time Warp would be, even at 1 to 2 more mana. I honestly forgot that card is legal in Standard. Yeah, exactly. You have Flashback, Time Warp with Leer. Yeah, maybe. Like, Flashback, Time Warp with Leer is at least a combo that requires a board presence that's interactable via creature removal. In general, I am a lot more accepting of and forgiving of combos that exist that are interactable via creature removal. a big part of Aldruin's power level and oppression and frustrating play patterns is largely related to the fact that you literally can't interact with it if you're not playing blue cards. Things that creature removal interacts with means that literally every deck can interact with it if they want to. I think it's a lot more difficult for a creature-based thing to be offensive. Yeah, which was actually why both the Winota and the Time Warp bans I was pretty against in Historic, because those were both creature-based combo decks. I thought they were largely fine. If we had a couple more spells, we'd be in an okay spot, but unfortunately magic happened this game. Okay, well, if this Hierophant gets to hit them, we'll be at 27 thanks to Cleric Class and the lifelink, so Burn Down the House no longer wipes my board. Which is nice. I'm actually not even sure it beat the blue deck Stuck Doolittle, because like right before Winota was banned, we had actually been playing Jeskai control like pre-Lightning Helix and all that jazz, and like Red Cap melee was so good in that matchup. You know, it's always strange to me, the things that they choose to ban versus not when they decide, like, what's fun and what isn't. Like this, chat. This is clearly fun. Are you having fun? Is it good for you? It's good for our opponent.
Just as delightful as speeding things up.
The algorithm says you should be having fun. Yep.
Time only flows in one direction.
And this white variation with Teferi and Strixhaven Stadium even combo kills you faster, right? Like, one of the things that's part of the reason why this deck's not a total dumpster fire against Aldruins is we frequently get above 20, so even 4 Epiphanies don't kill us. But then they mix in the Strixhaven Stadium, and then all of a sudden, they need a lot less than that to actually win the game, because Strixhaven Stadium just diddles and undiddles, and then eventually wins when it gets to 10. Yeah, I think we're probably just dead at this point, huh? Alright, we'll do this, because it kills Teferi at least. So blocking helps. I mean, blocking doesn't really help unless you have a giant pile of flying blockers when they make a bunch of birds. Like, the opponent's archetype technically wins via combat, but they go so wide it's trivial for them to go around whatever blockers you're able to put together if you're not also playing Aldruin's Epiphany.
Don't worry, it's only a little mystery.
Yep. Yeah, and they can also tap your blockers with Teferi is accurate as well. It's a good shout.
what?
Now what? Orah gives us good play against these sweepers, at least.
With me here, we'll have all.
And then we're actually dead to Aldrin's Epiphany here, right? They tap our blocker, and then they do this, and now the Strixhaven Stadium is lethal. 48 life, and it doesn't matter. Big sad, big sad. Again, Aldrin's Epiphany is so much better than Time Warp would be in this format, and it's not particularly close. I honestly think, like, the obvious time walk aside, I think Aldrin's Epiphany is probably one of the best turn spells ever printed. Honestly, the more I play against it in this format, I think it's probably better than Nexus of Fate even. Nexus of Fate was more frustrating to play against because it killed you more slowly. Like, it took Nexus of Fate decks longer to actually win the game. But in terms of what do these decks, like, the power level of them, Aldrin's definitely feels stronger. I have no idea how modern Merfolk does anything. It's not a format or deck I've played. Wow, exiling my Dorko, big rude. Yeah. If they don't ban Aldrin's Epiphany is going to be the top card in these decks until it rotates in the fall. Thanks for the follow, Red Donger. Yeah, I mean, like, if that last Epiphany opponent didn't have Strixhaven Stadium specifically, we were in a really good spot that game, right? Like, we had redundancy set up to play through their sweepers. We had way more life than they were going to be able to play through, but it just ultimately did not matter because they had the Stadium. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see more of them start moving towards Stadium as having that alternative, like, combo kill aspect to them. Need a stronger time walk to push Epiphany out. Big mood. I think I need to sit on this for now. If I play this out and they flip this and then play another spell, I just like lose it. I cannot Pyre in response. That is not how my Magic the Gathering card works. Good try though, Twitch chat. Come on, give me a creature. Thank you. Good stuff. All right. Dunk. I think our matchup against dragons is better than our matchup against the more dedicated turns decks for what it's worth. Or reasons as shown. We can just block their stuff. Sure, the 22 months Sam, welcome back. The 9 months. Augustello, welcome back. Put this up to 10 in attack with 2 lethal things. I like these in the grindy matchup. Solana just gets blocked here. Our main deck's actually pretty okay here. Dawnbringer Cleric's not particularly exciting. Demon Disciple is... I guess Demon Disciple's not good into... I'll bring a couple of Vanishing Verses, extra removal. I like the split on these. I think this is better than Cathar in general, but one Cathar to occasionally be able to tag a Goldspan Dragon is probably good utility. If they didn't have those damn birds, this would be great here. But unfortunately, they do. The Demon Disciple is in the sideboard for the blue-black control matchup, because you want to be able to pod into killing Lear and Xanthar. Get Luminarch going here. Yeah, Arena does a good job with sound design in general. In fact, if you were to ask me what my only complaint would be about Arena's sound design, is that I think its actual only bad thing about it is that's a little bit too sparse. Wish there was a little bit more of it. Runeterra does such an incredible example of A+ sound design. Just want to draw any 2-drop here so we can pod into a well, or we could just draw Skyclave. Works too. Grab the Smoldering Egg. Yeah, they've definitely greatly tuned down the number of animations that we have on the client, which is really sad. Used to have a lot more fancy ones, and now we really don't have many at all. Nah, attack first here because it's a free roll. If they have land, 1 mana spell, we're in trouble here. Really want to draw untapped land on our side so we can do this plus a pot activation. I guess we just do this plus a pot activation now, huh? Grab that Brutal Cathar we kept in. Even if they kill the Cathar here, it still resets the Smoldering Egg. Which is what we're looking for the time being. Back in my day, we didn't have fancy spancy animations. We only had foils that broke the client. Mood. Yeah, Brazen Borrower is better than Bone Crusher in Eternal formats, mostly because blue's fucked up in Eternal formats, is like the TLDR. Am I supposed to have Portable Hole in this matchup? Probably not. I have enough removal spells. I know it felt a little bit bad to like not have enough of them there, but that was a little bit outside the average. They had double egg early too. No, the shield side of Reidane is way too slow. Plus a lot of their removal can deal more than enough damage to kill my stuff. Shield a viable answer to Epiphany. No, not really, chat. They have a bunch of Prismari commands, fam. for 4 mana is so much mana. Pretty sure Stadium is a meme. I disagree with you. Actually think Stadium's likely pretty reasonable. Yeah, its interaction with the 4 mana Teferi and the white variations is also very good. It's a touch unfortunate. So getting punished for my mana sequencing, this should have been a black so I could activate Hive of the Eye Tyrant. It was kind of weird that they gave us the extra counter. This is a turn spell, they're gonna cast it now. It's just a counter spell? Well, I wanted to look, but then it blacked out after I clicked the view battlefield button. There's a view battlefield button up at the top right here that's supposed to show you what's going on, but alas. When the control deck wins with Stadium, it feels like the football game being called for the home team, winning by default because they slashed the tires on the opposing team's bus. Well, the Gruul deck wasn't very popular in Worlds either, Mendy. Like, go look at the actual metagame breakdown of that tournament. Also, Worlds was a split format tournament. Does anybody know offhand what Gruul's actual record was in the tournament? 'Cause I know, like, the eventual winner went undefeated in Standard, right? What was the Gruul deck's record in the Standard portion? Morning, bread. It's not the question I asked, Silver Oak. I know what record it finished with. I know what final position it finished in. I said, what was its record during the Swiss portion? Yeah, honestly, one of the biggest improvements we made to this deck over the earlier iterations was cutting creature lands for more basics. Does the 2 matches of Standard loss include their loss in the finals, or is that just the Swiss? I do have 5 for today, Steve. Our Eldegoss has to bail at about 2:30, though, if you want to play the last few with us, playing Eldegoss. So I think we're playing and activating Pyre. I'm just not sure what we're doing with it. Do I want second Valkyrie or do I want Cleric? I think I want... I think it's second Valkyrie. Yeah, I think putting this to a 4-6 against what's likely a Sultai deck is not great. There's a good chance we get, like, Binding of the Old Gods tier. Although I guess there could be some merit to, like, chasing the Binding of the Old Gods out before, before I play the Pyre. Awesome, Steve. Let's plan on it. Why not post-combat? I clicked through the thing because my timer was running down and I was talking about my plays out loud. So I missed the play because I was talking and playing at the same time, chat. Move, Yuki boy. What's the weather look like today? What's the weather like today? Like today, like today. What's the weather like today? Looks like Lilith.
Reek with terror. Exquisite. I will cull the weak.
I think I want to activate Cleric Class, pod this into the 4-drop, and then we can pod the other one into a 4-drop next turn and get 2 Valkyries back. I think is the plan. If I attack, they could triple block and kill my Angel. But I guess maybe it's worth trading the Angel for Desert Doom plus a Spider. I don't know. I don't know that I'm in love with that trade. Awesome Sauce, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back.
My words are for ambitious minds.
Those who harm the forest destroy the gifts that grew into the trees. They prepare for war.
Like, we have a really good turn next turn. So we get to go Aspirant. Aspirant. Pod this, trigger Hierophant, get back Dawnbringer, exile, storm the festival. This is going to bring Hierophant into play, which will trigger the legend rule and give me 2 Hierophant triggers. And then next turn, we can pod Valkyrie into Hierophant, get back 2 Valkyries again. I also just turn one of these into a thing too.
My hatred lives.
So pod.
Power grows with tender care.
I got a couple of triggers here. Elevator going up. I was just about to say, I don't know if this is lethal, but it's not my job to figure it out. And my opponent has decided that it is lethal enough. So we take those. Dawnbringer Cleric, Brutal Cathar in. I don't know if this is a Vanishing Verse matchup. Reidane seems good. They have Chariot and Ren and Binding and Storm the Festival. Spellbinder out. Skyclave actually seems kind of mediocre here. Maybe we leave in 1 to pot into on occasion. This is definitely any of the grindy matchups, the non-aggro matchups, you want the extra Hierophant. For him, the Aspirants here, I think. Seems fine. Turn on auto-ordered triggered abilities for this deck. Let's give ourselves some clicks here for the next hour. I'm gonna try the artifact that gains life or draws a card if you're over 20 in this list. What problem does this deck have that that card is solving? Why do I want to play a 4-mana card that doesn't impact the board? Can you explain why that is good? Yeah, like I always mentioned during the deck tech, the pod in this deck is largely a how do we get the most Righteous Valkyries into play as quickly as possible card. It's very good at doing that. Let's crank this up and hope to dodge a way for them to remove it, and then we can bring back Valkyrie next turn with it. Oh, that's so brutal. Man, it's super greedy for this to be in their deck post board. We played on the board a ton. It's very fortunate that we they caught us with cards in our hand. I just like do this. Just like trading my 3/3 for their Cadillac. That seems fine, right?
Underestimate the forest because of its beauty. The entire forest is an army.
Yeah, the Cleric Class is also just more copies of Valkyrie is accurate. Is a good summary. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we just fire this up since they decided to attack with their cats. We like exile your storm, kill your Wren.
Fear burns within us.
How do you even bind a fireplace? Very carefully. Well, I think we were going to beat the first binding Wren. I don't think we're gonna beat the second, fam. Sometimes the hits start coming and they don't stop coming. Something tells me Wren and 7 hit the ground running.
From root to canopy, the trees are mighty.
We're going to be playing this deck for another hour and change. This is the last deck of the day. I think my plan, viewer deck submissions have slowed down a good bit, so I think I'm going to be playing just 2 decks per day. We've also hit the point where standard stagnated to the point where it's kind of harder to come up with more than 2 decks per day. So my plan is to like try one thing new and then have one thing that's likely reasonable that we could play for a longer session if the new thing wasn't good. I think I'm happy with how we boarded. I'm gonna run it back. I think competitive Unite is better. It would be easier to find bread for people that are looking for it. Untap Snarls! It's like cheating, shit. It's like we're cheating. I'm gonna double Cleric Class this turn, so I want to play Pyre of Heroes when I could activate it in the same turn. I'm taking this attack because I assume they have a 4-mana spell and they don't want to trade here. Untap Snarl, it's basically like an OG dual land, please ban mood. Land, Renin 7. Yeah, I am still taking Brawl submissions. In fact, I do have a build around submission for Elishnorn Brawl that we're gonna play tomorrow. You could just do the full name Pokemon Unite instead of just Competitive Unite. I mean, killing the pod is smart. Like, hold on, we'll remember to attack first this time. Alright, and then ideally they don't interact with us here, and then next turn we draw untapped land, and we get to go Valkyrie, pot into Hierophant, get 2 Valkyries. They have a lot of interaction in their deck though, so there's probably a low chance that we untap with both of these. Venture is on my list of things to get back to. I've started adding things to the deck queue that are things I want to do. I don't have that one in there yet. Abzan Venture. Abzan Venture is one of those ones that I'm expecting to be we play it for an hour and then we say it's shitty and we stop playing it. But I feel like we should give it a shake at a minimum. Alright, then on to 1 card in hand. Sure, why not? Yep. Not a whole lot we could do there. Our cards just kind of pushed us around. Yeah, the opponent's archetype, the opponent's archetype is one of the ones that's largely unplayable in this format because of the Epiphany decks. Your mod sword automatically gets disappeared if you get timed out, because Twitch assumes if you're timing out a moderator that they don't deserve to be a moderator anymore. Yeah, the previous opponent's archetype goes bigger than a lot of other decks, but Epiphany goes way over the top of it. If you didn't catch Meta Monday this week, we went over that and some other matchup tables that we had to look at. Sweet. A mono green matchup. These ones are delicious for us, chap. We might have only been top 600 on Twitch for income on the league, chat. But I guarantee you we are #1 for moderators having been timed out on Twitch. Confident that we are first in that category. The second cleric's probably a land. Good. Okay. It's a good pickup. So again, I'm going to hold on to this until we can activate it the turn we play it. We'll go ahead and get rid of the Mammoth, and then next turn we can play Pyre, sack Skyclave, get an Angel to pump up the friends. Is Cleric a better creature than Valkyrie? They're situationally different. Yet all the mods that just ask for timeouts, you're not getting swords back today. I'll think about it and I'll maybe give them to you tomorrow. Enjoy the pleb trenches for 24 hours.
Trees can fight their own battles.
What's our best draw here? Like another Valkyrie, probably? This Twitch stream is pre-recorded in front of a live audience. Thanks everybody for being here today.
I have other grooves to tend.
To the people that didn't lose their mod swords, don't be mean to the mods without swords. Karma's not nice. I'm only at 56, opponent. Come back. Opponent, you have Chariot and a Tree Folk token. Reddit told me this was unbeatable. Why are they conceding, chat? Twitter told me this also needed to be banned. And this, honestly, and again, just to hammer the point, this is why I don't like the fact that this is so interactable via combat is just like it makes it so fine, so fine. And that in my mind is the big difference between what these decks are doing in the Epiphany decks. The fact that like so many different things can interact via combat profitably. Let's try Cleric Class here actually. It's kind of expensive. Yay, underscores, bread. Yay, underscores. I think the green matchup here is probably our best matchup. Thanks for the follow, Artem. If you just resub today, it can take up to an hour or so for the Discord server to pop up for you. It manually syncs with, or it automatically syncs with my list of subscribers once an hour or so. Yeah, well stated, Beck. The list of things that interact there is super long. Yeah, it's also way more likely that they print good interaction for Chariot than they print good interaction for Epiphany, right? Like, the odds they start giving us white, red, or green counterspells, like, I don't expect Red Elemental Blast to be in the next set. Whereas, like, another way to destroy artifacts could very easily and realistically be in the next set. I think I just pump up the jam here. They're gonna be pretty likely to work their way out of the screw, and I think I want to just, like, get these stacking up ASAP. Red already has a counterspell. Tibalt's Trickery is not a counterspell. Stop it, Twitch chat. There's a lot of ways they could have balanced Epiphany better. I actually think my favorite suggestion for how they could have balanced Epiphany better is it should have just said you only get birds if this card was foretold. I think would have been a really, really elegant way to do it. They have that templating on a few other cards where you get a bonus if you foretold the card. Yes, yeah, I agree with that, Mendy. The fact that the best clean answer to resolve Chariot is in the counterspell color is awkward. My kingdom for a K command in this format. Colligan would have none of Chariot shit. Just would not take any of it. Sure. Deal. We didn't even get to play our Righteous Valkyrie. They knew, chat. Their Righteous Valkyrie senses were tingling. They knew we were coming for them. Nosferatus follows after our opponent felt like they could predict the future. Feels like a sign, chat. Feels like a sign. And here I thought Gandalf's had a monopoly on the tank concede line. Mood. What's going on, Pamawesome? Thanks for the follow. Look at that. Kuntz knows how this channel works. No, our Snarl is this the first tapped Snarl we've played today? I think it might be. should have played around Spike Field. Patrick, that is incredibly generous of you. That's a lot of subs. Thank you for the support. That's very generous of you. If any of our new members of Hooglandia are unsure what to do with their latest gift of speech, just talk to a moderator and they'll be able to help you out. Parkachoa and Cody and Matt, thanks for the follows. There's a good chance this pod resolves here, right? Ooh, that's brutal. That's brutal. Huh. I think I'm gonna power this up. It might be right to resolve this here, and like maybe I'm supposed to do this. The problem is they have like Prismari command that could kill it right away. Okay, now we can do this into this into this. I think we just grab Dawnbringer and get rid of... I probably want to pod this into a 3-drop next turn anyway, so we'll just like get something that does something when it comes into play here. Dragon is kind of scary. The odds they have a removal spell here, hi. See if this is able to stem the bleeding here for a little bit. If they kill this during my main phase, I can Cleric Class it back, making them have another removal spell. Yeah, okay. Oh, and I didn't play a spell, so it flips into Moonrage Brute now. It's kind of guess. Epiphany's a little sad. Fortunately, did do another dragon spell here. Don't have anything useful for this to go get here. Maybe they don't have a removal spell here. Okay. And we're dead if this is an extra turn spell. So I assume we're dead. Oh, my thing flips. Okay. I'm not dead yet. Good shit. Good shit. Extra turns are lots of fun. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Extra turns are lots of fun. This is magic. What's going on, Frigley? Thanks for the tier 2 and for the 26 months. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. We've had our first turn, yes, but what about the second turns? This is fine. We'll bottom a Cleric Class. Yeah, I agree, HR Beck. The Dragon's deck is still reasonable and fine without Epiphany. Opponent disconnected. Tilt. I think we put it on Aspirant first since they're on the deal 1 spell. Obviously this time they're gonna have like the deal 3 dragon spell and I'm gonna feel bad, but I think it's correct to play around their spell land there. Here. It's just so impossible to come back against these decks when you miss land drops. We don't have any pressure to speak of to put into play. Life is happier not playing against Epiphany, so if we're likely gonna lose, let's just move along to the next one. I don't really care about hitting Mythic in any expeditious amount of time. Probably only in this game. It's like 2, 3, and then our 4 will depend on what our other cards look like. It's a nice draw. We'll start on that now. And then we can go Pyre on 2, tap land, activate Pyre on 3. Ah, okay. So, by the way, to the person that asked about the Twitch Discord server, I'm surprised nobody else has said anything. Apparently, there must just not have been issues for people. Apparently, I need to link and relink my Twitch to Discord because my Twitch password changed with the breach. That makes sense, but also wasn't something I was thinking about. What is my Twitch password? It's a 16-digit string of random characters stored in my password manager, like every responsible adult has for their password in 2021. And if you felt personally attacked by that comment, good. Go start using a password manager and having unique passwords for all your accounts. My password manager has two-factor authentication with my phone, so that's fine. It's about as secure as you get. Google Chrome has a password manager built into it, so your stuff is stored in the cloud. Apparently our opponent's hand was a couple of Magdas and then a whole lot of nothing. I don't really have strong opinions for people offering up suggestions of other password managers. I don't really have strong opinions on other password managers. Use the Google one because it's convenient. I don't use a password manager. I have a 16-digit algorithm in my head that can decipher my passwords for all things based on their name, of what they are and how they're different. More power to you. Should this be banned? Something like that. Spellbinder's not great here. We basically only want this card against the dedicated Epiphany decks. So it comes out against most other things. I like the 1/3 against the deck that's playing Magda and likely has Ranger Class. I think Luminarch's kind of medium on the draw. We'll bring in Vanishing Verse and Crippling Fear. Welcome back, Slee. Look into Bitwarden. Oh, for someone asking for a non-browser one. Yeah, I like my browser-based one because it's convenient. Thanks for the 23, Alistair Stone. By the time you hit 24, we should have sweet new badges. Are they a Bard class deck? No, I think they're playing the Gruul Treasures Splash Counterspells deck from Worlds. Oh man, Outland Liberator is rude shit. We have a lot of traps this trap breaker is going to be coming after. Crunch. They don't kill our Valkyrie friend, we're gonna gain crazy amounts of life next turn. Especially if we draw another 1 or 2 drop cleric. Don't copy and paste your passwords onto your clipboard is a little paranoid even for me. I would recommend instead just not getting malware on your computer. That one's like a bridge too far for me personally. Yeah, if your malware is reading your clipboards, you're probably fucked. When my children are eventually old enough to start web browsing unsupervised in their teenage years or whatever, where we not need to be constantly over their shoulder, they will be given Unix-based systems for a reason. I ain't cleaning malware off their shit every other week. Listen, chat, with the average Linux-based operating system, we have a hard time making users install software they want, much less tricking them into installing software they don't want. Alright, we got nothing else going on, so it's time to power up these cleric classes. Although I'm kind of expecting... Oh god, I don't have a spell, so the Outland Liberator's gonna flip? Flunge. Yeah, or super dead. Alright. Maybe we can have a good game 3. This has like been a really awful match of Magic. Like our opponent did nothing and died, and then we kind of did nothing and died. Hey coach, thanks for the 3 years. Welcome back. Listen, I've watched how my 6-year-old manages installing mobile games on his phone. And if he didn't need parental permission to do that, his phone would be unusable. Hey Lars, thanks for the 3rd of the year. Welcome back. If you've never seen a 6-year-old use apps that had advertisements in it, they're like every advertiser's dream. They like play a freemium app until an ad appears in the freemium app for a different freemium app, and then they click that link and go to the Play Store and want to install that new one immediately. I'm gonna trade this here, because if this dies, we can get that back now later. Would you believe me if I told you various crypto scams trying to convince me I should have a creator coin to scam my viewers with is something that I have told different double digits worth of different companies to fuck off about. A what now? A creator coin is a custom Bitcoin that you get to put your brand on to shill to your people. Did they actually say scam? No, chat. Scams don't tell you that they're a scam. Come on now. Everybody knows that the MLM lets you work from home part-time, making $500 to $1,000 a week at no risk guaranteed. Just contact that friend from high school that never went on to do anything more than that for more information. It's not a scam, chat. They're making lots of money. Goldspan is scary when we don't have Righteous Valkyrie, chat. I believe we have died, friends. It's for the third of a year, Lars. Welcome back. This Goldspan Dragon card might be okay. I'd wager 99 people out of 100 on Facebook that tell you to do your own research couldn't tell you the steps in the scientific process to save their lives. What was it? You're not doing your own research, you're Googling vigorously to try and find information that confirms your already predetermined biases. When you start with the conclusion and then try and work backwards to arrive there, it doesn't really work well. I played bass for vigorous Googling in college. Alright, white source would be great here. Nice. Nailed it. Sure, that band had a lot of tabs. Sunarenko, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate you up in the prime. Welcome back. I think we just want to use the pod this turn. I think we attack here and put this into play. And then pod Hierophant, or pod Apparition into Hierophant. Hoping to draw a cheap cleric here. One or two mana cleric would be ideal. Start getting things in the bin. Because right now they can actually kill our Hierophant and we don't get anything back. Yeah, a little unfortunate here. Maybe I'm not supposed to pot into that. Maybe I'm just supposed to play Brutal Cathar on their Smoldering Egg last turn. Having this die with nothing to return is a pretty big downside. I guess I can pod this one into a Hierophant. And then if this one dies, we get back Valkyrie. So if they have 2 spells they can cast, Valkyrie dies. They have a single damage spell, Valkyrie dies. Yeah, that's sad. It's been a rough set for clerics today. Can't run good all the time, I guess. I'm going to play 1 or 2 more before we go to Unite. I don't want to flip over too early. I'm going to do at least a few hours of Magic. No, I don't think so, Mendy. Yeah, always Captain Command. Magic questions are fine during Unite. Unite's fine during Magic. We're a multi-game stream now. Full-time mobile game streamer. Unite and Magic Arena are both predatory mobile games, chap. This curve's really good. 1, 2, 3. It's just curve-imentary. What could it be? Yes, when the egg returns to play from the Cathar, it comes back on the front side, and they have to play a bunch of mana again. So, Pokemon that are good in lane in Unite tend to be characters that are both good at last hitting and can take a hit inside of combat when the enemy pushes over on them. And Talonflame really cannot take a hit. It is very, very fragile. So it's actually okay at last hitting, it just dies. I don't think you should be expecting a ban and restricted announcement. If you're not enjoying getting Alduin's Epiphany in Standard, you should play Historic or Brawl or Pokemon Unite. I would heavily caution you against sitting there hoping for changes that are likely not coming. It's a good way to end up super disappointed. Enjoy the formats for what they are, or move along with your life until they change. Are we 1 point short here? 1 point short of liftoff. Sedge. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying the deck digest stuff, Duntix. Well, they, Crunch? Question mark? You haven't checked out the daily deck digest on YouTube, by the way, for a new viewer or a longtime viewer that hasn't seen it. Something I started last week. It is shorter, edited YouTube content that highlights the best decks that we've played on stream. There are 30 to 40-minute videos that post a deck tech and then 2 to 3 matches with the deck, depending on how long the matches are, that kind of showcase it in some of its best potential. My long-form YouTube content that's not just the best of the best is still up on the youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland. That's not going anywhere. But this new venture is more YouTube optimal content, for lack of a better term. This is just too slow, right? These cards just kind of mopey in this matchup. I think we mulligan this. Yeah, this is fine. I'm gonna bottom the Cleric here, I think. This might be a spell this game. We'll see what we draw. If we draw a spell, we'll do that. I did see MTG Melee has a matchup matrix feature now. In fact, Mr. Bard Narson sent me a DM and they gifted me their premium as a thank you for running my Hoaglandia events there, because they're great. So we'll be be poking at that this week. We'll probably look into using it for Meta Monday next week. Playing the Pyre out is tough in this matchup. Like, getting it down on turn 2 there when they're tapped out means they can't counterspell it later, but it does also mean there's a chance it gets Prismari Command before I used it. Like, good chance they have more counterspells than they do Prismari Commands, so I think it's correct to just play the Pyre out. It does not surprise me that this channel has a lot of overlap with Hassan viewers. Drop our core, pot into a Skyclave, get rid of this egg. For people that are not familiar, Hassan is does social commentary that's very left-leaning on Twitch. He's one of the largest creators on the platform. I think he has 30 to 40,000 concurrent subscribers at any given point. I didn't know that clerics hatch out of a pod. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. He's up to 50k now. Good for him. What's going on, Snake? Honestly, just like hoping to draw some lands. We got plenty of creatures this game. The 7th land naturally. If they have Mascot Exhibition this turn, we're going to be a little bit behind. But if they have to Environmental Sciences, well, they had to play Shatter Skull Smashing for this. That's not too terrible. Why did they bolt? They just like decided after the fact? Sure. Really strange sequencing here. Untap land is great. Thank you, honey. On the 3rd day of Deep Dish that my wife delivered to me. It's delicious. How could I be sick of it? Do we Luminarch into Cleric into Valkyrie, or do I Valkyrie into the 4-drop? I think I Valk into the 4-drop. I guess I gain more life the other way. Now I'm gonna Luminarch into Cleric into Valkyrie this turn, I think. Getting the second Valkyrie into play also gives me blockers for the birds, which is nice. For reference, Patrick Mendy, I'm pretty sure the supposed mansion that people were upset at Hassan for buying in California is very similarly sized to the home that I live in Central Illinois. It's just, you know, in San Francisco. Also, like, people like Hassan pay infinitely more in taxes than someone like Jeff Bezos, which is really the problem. The problem is that people that actually understand what leftists are talking about know that the problem isn't that people have money. The problem is that people have money and they're not paying their fair share of what the taxes should be for people in their bracket. Taxes for people at the top in the United States right now are like the lowest they've almost ever been, right? Is it ever been? It's close to it, right? I think it's the lowest they've ever been. Flat tax rate? Fuck off. Fuck out of here with your flat tax rate bullshit. Tiered tax brackets are reasonable and fine. Sorry. We don't take kindly to libertarians around these parts. Flat taxes are incredibly regressive. Is accurate. Do they have an out to this? I don't know. That's not my job to figure out. The idea that a 3-bedroom Single family home. So supposedly the house he bought is 5 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms, and 3,800 square feet. The house I live in is 3,300 square feet. We have 4 bathrooms, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and we have 5 bedrooms. So yeah, it's actually just almost the house I have in Central Illinois. It's just my house is in Central Illinois, so it only cost me, you know, $280,000 or something like that. I don't remember what we closed for. It was a little less than $300,000. And for people that haven't seen my backyard when I've pulled it up, like my backyard is literally a cornfield. Mid-sized town living in the Midwest it's nice, honestly. Like, I'm very, very happy with where I live. We have fiber internet and plenty of space for relatively cheap. And we actually looked at, there were several homes in our price range right under 300,000 when we were looking that were actually larger than this house that we bought, but we decided we didn't need more space than what this has. Because at a certain point, it's just space that you have to like clean and take care of that you're not gonna use, so like why have it? And you have to like air condition it and heat it, like it's a waste. To the person that said, well, Hassan's just one person. Okay, does that mean he's not allowed to like want to have space to like have a family or a partner or have friends be able to stay with him? Like, so like, what you're talking about there, Mendy, is like, you're like, it's like a technically correct asterisk, but it ignores the reality of the situation. It's what I like to refer to as the paper straw problem, which is, yes, moving to paper straws and not using single-use plastic is like, it's nice, and like it will be a contributing factor to addressing climate change, but everybody using paper straws isn't gonna fix climate change. Like, addressing climate has to be done at a systematic level by the overarching government as a whole, and honestly, globally working together, even just past our government here in the United States. So like, shaming individuals and being like, your little tiny bit is the straw that's breaking the camel's back. It's like, well, that's like, that like ignores the reality of what the situation is. Oh, I probably should have stacked counters on one that could attack this turn. Like, for example, and actually I talked about this before on stream too, we had people that came through my neighborhood trying to get people in my neighborhood to sign a petition to not get them to be able to build apartment buildings behind my home because they wanted to rezone the cornfield. I told them to fuck off, right? Like, I want affordable housing to exist. And like, I can own a single family home and also do things and put my money where my mouth is towards improving other issues while still having a house for my family. Like me owning a home doesn't like mean I'm against affordable, reasonable housing for people. Sorry, I said apartments. They technically would be condos, I believe, which are apartments that you own technically. But yeah, you get the point. In my mind, apartment covers that too. But for other people, there's a distinction there. I know. I should be more technically precise. I think I'm okay trading a 7/7 veteran for the 3/2 and the 4/4 here, so I'm gonna offer that trade. Every single left-leaning person in the U.S. could become a monk and vow of poverty and charity, or the U.S. could build one less murder jet. That's a great, concise way to put it. Well, they've technically just harvested the cornfield behind my house, so now it's just a field. But yeah, every other year it's a cornfield. Nobody's extremizing what you're saying, Patrick. They're just saying that you doing that doesn't solve all of the problems, and expecting other people to do what you're doing is unrealistic because you're not actually solving problems. Like, you're helping a few, but like on the grand scheme of things, like it's just like a drop in the bucket. The negate on my pod feels real bad. I was not expecting that. Main deck negate's pretty common right now, though. Sedge. Our 7/7's going down, but the Lumiarchs are still here. We need to start stacking counters on this flying creature more. Yeah, that's a great comparison. It's like the people that say, well, if you think taxes should be higher, you should just donate your money to the government. That's not how the system works. All right, the pod has resolved, fam. Great, if we can keep dodging a sweeper here, we're in a great spot. And we've got a Valkyrie out, so Cleric classes can bring her back now, which is great. So, I think this is a Reidane matchup. They're likely a Blood on the Snow deck. Definitely an extra Hierophant matchup. They probably have flashback spells, so this seems good. Skyclave's probably not great here. Maybe I leave one in to pot up 4 on occasion. I want to leave one Brutal Cathar because they likely have Ren in 7. And trim a couple of Luminarchs. Yeah, they should have Blood on the Snow in their deck. Nothing I have to worry about. We got a solid start here. Honestly, I'm just gonna offer this trade here. If they want to trade, that means this gains them less life in the long term, which I think is good for us. We don't have an angel anywhere nearby, so the extra couple points of life from this don't really matter. We'll get to drop this next turn, and these will start pumping up the jam very nicely. I think this is probably a spell this game. Might regret this, but I think I'm gonna play that as a land tier. Let's get Reidane down to slow them down a bit. Yeah, but that's not the point, Cowboy Bebop. So, the fact that you can contribute money to the government, but only for the fact to pay down debts, is the opposite of what people are saying, right? People are saying, I'm fine with my taxes being raised if I'm wealthy to pay for more social programs. Paying off the debt's not paying for social programs. Which is, again, why you can't just, as an individual, address these things that need systematic changes. Which is why it's silly to, like, go after people like Hassan who are well off and being like, well, you should just take all your money and get rid of it and live in poverty if you really are a leftist. That's why those discussions don't come in good faith. They show a fundamental ignorance of how the system as a whole works. I just want my tax money to feed children who can't afford food and provide health care for people that live in the United States instead of going into a war machine that murders people. That's all I want, chat. It's a very simple request. I want my streets plowed and kids fed and educated and people taken care of and not being killed with the money that I pay. That's all I want. We're gonna move on from the Hassan topic now. So I'm going to time people out in chat that want to keep talking about it. If you want to disagree with me, just know that I think you're wrong, and you can feel free to change the channel or just be quiet about it. But everyone in general, even the folks that agree with me, feel we're gonna move along now. Orah giving us some resilience to sweepers is really nice. That's a Valkyrie. We take those. I think Orah is just better than Taborax for that purpose. I think a couple of Hives are good. The little bit of graveyard hate this provide and also pushes some damage. I like the 2 Hives. I don't think I'd play more than the 2 Hives I have, but I wouldn't cut the 2 Hives I have.
Do what I demand.
I saw the news someone linked about historic announcements. I will pull it up on stream after we finish this match. We will review it together. So people that don't want to click off and you want my thoughts on it, it looks like we're winning this game. We might have one more if we lose this, but I will look at it with all of you here in a second.
Aren't I the generous one? A gift in exchange for loyalty.
I think I want to get Cleric Class set up here to bring back Orah, because my lose condition this game is definitely my opponent drawing another sweeper here. So I'm going to try and play around my lose condition. I think I'm going to chill on attacking for a turn because I don't want to give them a card with Eye Twitch. Is that true? Do I want to chill? Yeah, I'm going to chill.
Good minions are loyal and deadly.
I want to try and get as many things to 6 power as I can. So that way they're all lethal. Are we attacking yet? Or am I waiting another turn? I'm insulated against a sweeper because of the Hierophant. I think I want to wait for Hive of the Eye Tyrant, right? Do I want to wait? What are they going to get with these, right? I don't think there's anything too scary they could get. They have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 8 mana. I guess they could get the exile a creature card to exile my Hierophant and then Blood on the Snow. I also just, like, hate giving them infinite time, though. This attack might be wrong. I don't know.
My power is for annihilation.
Oh no, chat! What if they ult the Lilith? How will we survive losing 8 life per attack? Oh no! Oh no! They get to make a bunch of blockers here, but like I'm gonna like play another Righteous Valkyrie and then just like smash. I am not going to attack with the Hierophant here. They could 5-stack this to kill it. But that's fine. I would get back a Clerical Life Spawned. These aren't lethal on their own except for this one. So they could technically let one through here. Yeah, link to the article is fine, and we'll update it with a reaction video once we get one up tonight. Yeah, I think we just need to try and kill them before they find the Blood on the Snow, right? And honestly, even Blood on the Snow, again, isn't the end of the world, because my Hierophant's going to trigger a bunch and give me a board back. Hey, JKMN, thank you for the entire year. Welcome back. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Blood on the snow now. Please don't sweep me. Do 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 do. Their life total's going in the wrong direction, chat.
I will get what I want.
The life totals in this game aren't going in the way Garfield intended them to go. Negate! Rude. It's interesting if they have negated in postboard. Hey, Video West, thanks for the 38 months. Welcome back. Two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we're attacking with this now. MK all day. Thank you for the 35 months. Welcome back. Please concede. glad we got to end on a game where we did cleric things. It's good. It's good stuff, chat. Good stuff. This deck's sweet. If you haven't seen it before, we've played this deck for the 3rd time today. Today was actually our worst run that we've had with this archetype, and we still batted a little over 500, I believe. So that's excellent. Good old Thirsty Dursty. Thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. No, we're pulling those up now. Let's take a